So
Okay, you are right. I don't know what happened with the content of what we did before that, but now we are officially live.
okay,
So,
okay, good. Okay, 'cause I was watching it side by side.
okay, do you all think we should do our introductions or no, we should keep going, Davia? Okay, so Elyse, I just clicked the button for the live. Could you ask the question again? And Helese, take it
Yeah,
away.
absolutely. So, how would you define Black excellence
The
today?
button for the live. Could you ask the question again?
How I would define Black excellence today, I think that is such a historical onto contemporary answer. But today, I think Black excellence is truly defined by the individual and different communities and groups. I think the meaning has evolved over time, and I think it's going to be up to us to start to create and build some new visions and some new innovative meanings for what this could mean. So that, because I love the terminology and I don't love some of the pressure and harm that it's caused, but I love where it could lead us to, the heights that it could have us aspire to. So it's kind of open ended, but I think Black excellence is going to be defined right here tonight.
If anybody else wants to jump in,
Yeah,
Dr. Crystal.
yeah, I'd like to say that I think Black excellence, like a lot of things, is exists within the context of a society, right? And so, just as our society has evolved, the term has evolved. I think Black excellence came about during a time in civil rights when there was a generation of strivers who saw it as very inspiring, kind of like Black is beautiful, the Black power. These were mantras that really lifted up our people and encouraged my parents in particular, who lived in Harlem in the 1950s and 60s, would say that this is an example of what everybody wanted to be, because there was the belief that if you were a striver and you achieved Black excellence, you were going to be okay, your kids were going to be okay, and the next generation was going to flourish. And so we have accomplished what we have accomplished, many of us, especially those of us who've gotten advanced degrees. All of that was key to the playbook of Black excellence from the 1950s, 60s, 70s, and I would dare say maybe even up until the year 2000. I don't think it's in the playbook anymore, because what we've seen is society has decided, and of course Black people are a part of the society, but Black and white people, all people in the society, have decided that we're not going to value and respect intelligence, education. I mean, people are making millions of dollars to little or nothing. I don't know. I am a person who loves reality TV. I don't want to digress, but there's just so many ways that people are making money doing absolutely nothing, and certainly nothing that my parents would have allowed me to do. Right? Really, almost shameful, disrespectful stuff. They're making millions of dollars doing. So I think it has the evolution is in part an identity crisis. So now, because the things that it takes to achieve success are so materialistic and so embedded with white supremacist values and commercialism, it's hard for many of us who want to see ourselves as people who are still invested in the future of Black people in the world and the diaspora. It's hard for us to get behind some of the things that we're calling Black excellence now. So I'll just leave it. I'll leave it there. It has an identity crisis, and we don't even know where it's going to end up. I feel like it's too soon to tell.
Thank you, Dr. Crystal. I would love to piggyback off what you said. I actually agree. And I think, Mom, I know you're out there. We are the definition of Black excellence. My mom has an EDD. Obviously, you all know that I have a PhD. My aunt is about to graduate with her doctorate next week. So shout out to my aunt. My sister going to be a physician assistant. And I feel that to a certain extent, we were socialized around Black excellence to believe that this was going to validate us as Black people. And maybe that this could be a buffer against racism. So it's like, you're a doctor, you have education, you have knowledge, therefore you will be respected and not mistreated. However, unfortunately, we had to learn, and I had to learn the hard way, that you would still see microaggressions. And Marissa has mentioned that we go from pet to threat. So before, when Black people have jobs that white people are used to us having or expecting us to have, maybe like low income jobs, we're like the pet. We take care of them. We're domestic workers, or maybe we are bus drivers, janitors, and this is not at all to like degrade those positions. But the moment that we are doing something that they have deemed for whiteness, then it's a problem. Like once you become a CEO, now that you're a professor, now that you're in tech, it's like a problem. You're an engineer because you were just supposed to do the low income job. And I'll just say the last thing is, in my personal experience, when I was in my PhD program, the white people were running amok. They were so tired of us. They're just like, how dare these Black people come and take our scholarships and our fellowships and get opportunities, because the way things were set up was that we were never supposed to achieve those things in the first place. So that's how I would define it.
Well, I think I want to jump in on that. It's interesting when I think about Black excellence, I really do think about my grandmother, to be quite honest, saying, you need to go as far as you can go, do as much as you can do, and no matter what, do more than what the white folks are doing, because they ain't doing nothing and they don't want to see you there. And so it really was about striving for high achievement. It was about resilience. It was also about creativity. And it was also about being the best in relationship to how white folks think you should be. And I absolutely agree with you both, Dr. Crystal and Dr. Maya, that Black excellence is definitely having an identity crisis. But there is something important about striving for a personal best. And I guess we'll get into that. I always use the term, you need to be excellent at something. So go ahead and push. And so it's your excellence. It's not societal excellence. It's not being within the system, so to speak. But it really, there's this way that I still do want to strive, but I don't want pressure. And I know we've talked about pressure, and we'll continue. But when I think about that generalized term for me, I do think of my grandmother, and I do think of it as striving for high achievement, but also thinking about resilience and creativity and being the best, whatever that is, in relationship to white folk, more than anything. Yeah.
And I love to contribute my thoughts to this as well. So Dr. Crystal, you brought a really good point, and Helese as well, on the generational differences between what Black excellence was and what Black excellence is now. And when I think about Black excellence, pre-millennium, pre-girl boss era, right? It gave very much a lifting as we climb vibe, right? Like, you did not become excellent alone. You became excellent with your parents, your siblings, your community, right? Your neighborhood. Everyone came with you, right? There wasn't a, crabs in the apple. What is that saying? Crabs in the barrel. There you go. Crabs in the barrel mentality, right? Now, when I think about Black excellence, to me, it doesn't differ too much from what capitalism is now, right? It's just that Black folks, we're feeding into the machine of capitalism. We're being told, get this education, get this job, get this house, get this car, get this spouse, and you'll be fine. But we all know we're not going to be fine, right? As long as you are a Black body living in this country. And I feel like, we're told to get the biggest house that we can, get the most luxurious car that you can, put your kids in the best schools and the best neighborhoods. But we don't think about how harmful that is, right? Yes, we have these great jobs, but they're literally killing us from the inside out, right? Like, women are having heart attacks at work. Yeah, you may be married, and on Instagram, you have that outward appearance of a happy marriage, but your marriage may not be so happy. Maybe you're living in a house that you may not be able to afford, right? Because you're in a job that you don't like. Your kids are in a great school district, but they're the only Black kid in school. And now, they're suffering because they don't have anyone that looks like them, right? And I'm not saying that Black folks who have the houses, the cars, the marriages are like all bad, or like everyone is suffering, or everyone is, financially not able to sustain their lifestyle. But there is very much a pressure to show that like I've made it, right? And to show all of those outward markers of success, often to our own detriment, often to the detriment of our happiness, our joy, and our lives, to be frank.
Thank you for sharing that, ladies. I was thinking if I wanted to contribute to that particular question, but I think I'm gonna hold. But I want to know if you have any specific example of when you, or memory of when you first encountered Black excellence. And if you don't have one right now, you want to think, I can take this one because something was popping in my head as you guys were speaking. But if you do, feel free to jump in before I go. Anybody?
Okay, before you all go, is it okay if I bring in the comments from the chat real quick? The chat is chatting and I just don't want to like miss all the things that we have here. So just really, really quickly. Hello, Cheryl. We're happy to have you here. We also have, okay, Hannah. It's standard that we hold ourselves to began as oppression and we adapted. We have evolved because we had no choice. I think we keep pushing when we don't necessarily have to. Couldn't agree with you more, Hannah. Definitely, we push so much. Even though we have achieved so much, it is really sad that we keep pushing ourselves so much. And Dr. Davia got a subscriber. Let's get it. Let's go. Okay. And we have this comment. Hello. So glad that you are here. And I had one more comment I wanted to show you all. Thank you, Marissa. Okay, we was doing makeup, we was doing hair, we was changing outfits, okay? We was working over here to look good for y'all. Changing backgrounds, it's a lot. We good and we are loving this. And another comment from Hannah, we have, this is Black excellence. We are figuring out the system and forming bonds to break free. Yes, Hannah, we definitely need to break free as much as we can. Okay, y'all out here really impressive people. You looking good, she looking good. Thank you, Jay. You have no idea. We really worked for these looks. I just really just picked out my fro, but you know. Okay, and hello, Q Styles. We're happy to have you all here. Okay, please continue with the conversation.
Did anybody want to jump in?
Yeah. So the first thing that came to me when I thought about the question, first experiences of Black excellence. So how many of you all remember, y'all might be too young for this, and I don't think they still do them, the debutante ball. Anybody been to a debutante ball? Anybody a debutante? Okay. So as you guys know, I just turned 59. So my debutante ball was a minute ago. But talk about the shenanigans. Oh my God. We started in the 10th grade, walking with books on our head, learning place settings. I mean, just all the things to be Mrs. June Cleaver to some brother. And then the outfits, the color coordination. And you all know also, I'm also thinking about the Black church and the tea. Anybody ever been to the Mother's Day tea, the spring tea, the garden tea, the fundraising tea? And then the other thing that comes to mind when I think about Black excellence in my childhood in particular, in terms of how I got the script of what I was supposed to be doing, was the Ebony Fashion Fair show. I know y'all too young for that. Anybody remember going to the Ebony Fashion Fair show? The tickets were like $1 million.
I didn't go,
Black
but
who was anybody.
I remember. I remember the magazines.
Okay, so I just want to throw that out there for the Black studies folk. The cultural experiences that defined who was in and who was out.
Was in
Those
was
were the things you had to do. You were supposed to be a debutante. Sororities and fraternities for sure. Also, I think had their own. Now, our family was not a fraternity, a sorority for sorority, but that's not true. My dad was a fraternity, but my dad died when I was young, so all the shenanigans that went with that, I didn't really get to experience. But I do know that it's a lot. It's a lot that they do. But the church teas and the what is it? United Negro College Fund fundraisers, and the Ebony Fashion Week. I would say though that was the playbook. That was the playbook for sure. If you were a child in the 70s and the 80s, I went to high school in the 80s. I'm a child of the 80s when it comes to high school experiences and music. So I just put that out there for y'all to remember. Some of y'all I know we're not thought of. Shout out to Dr. Maya's mama. I know Dr. Maya was not thought about with her mama.
She was not thinking about me. Trust and believe. Dr. Crystal, you got a lot in the chat off of that. We have Jay, who said, my aunt always wanted me to go to charm school. And when you say this, Jay, I'm thinking of charm school with Monique, where it was like supposed to get people together that were not together. I don't know. Big Up says, I taught a debutante ball. Very interested, Big Up, to know what you had to teach or go through. And we have, hello, welcome. And yes, I also wanted to add to this, Dr. Crystal, really quickly, that I also believe that kind of like the etiquette and being professional and dressing a certain way, that's like a whole piece of Black excellence. My first introduction, my mom took me to an etiquette class, and I was in here like, why are there so many forks? So why is there so many spoons? I don't understand. Why can't we just eat with one fork and one spoon? So I didn't do well with that etiquette, but she did try. She did try. So that was going to be my first introduction.
I want to add to that for sure. Some more. First of all, I was born in 84. I remember Fashion Fair. I remember Ebony. I remember Essence. I remember and some other cultural references for Black excellence of what you were supposed to be. You were supposed to be a Felicia Rashad. You were supposed to marry a doctor and live in a big house and have a lot of kids. And all of those kids had to go to college too. You had to, so the Black church is definitely another institution, and anything higher education, basically these institutions that I see that Dr. Davia had put in the chat, like our families wanted us to be accepted by the majority. And it did mean survival. It meant having the best quality of life at that point. But now, throughout time, with music changing and the internet coming in and changing everything, social media coming in and changing everything, now actually we see a lot of these things coming back with like the glorification of luxury and old money and quiet luxury and things like that. I know Vani can definitely touch on that because she's like TikTok trends expert. You know what I'm saying? She's like viral trends expert. But I definitely think that we look to these institutions and media to show like this was excellent and this is a little deviant. If you want to be like Janet Jackson, you're treading on thin ice, but only if you can be as successful as her can you be as open sexually as her or something like that. But if you can't make no money doing it, then you're just a whore. Like you're just a hoe. That's just what it was. So it's like it really touched on respectability politics, how we approached our womanhood, how we approached our sexuality. You're supposed to be demure, and Black women had to be 10 times more demure than white women could be, just because we already had this label of being like loose and fluid when really we were we were taught to be so conservative. So it's just a strange paradox that went on during that time, 80s, 90s. I do remember that. I was young, but I do remember it, Dr. Crystal. So thanks for bringing that up.
And I will just bring some things from the chat that y'all are doing great. The chat is chatting and I'm loving it. Shawan said, I did not attend charm school, but received a few etiquette classes via various sororities and debutantes. And like you mentioned, Dr. Crystal, the sororities, we can have a conversation about that. Dr. Davia, I'm afraid that your people will come for us. So she got the whole sorority in the back right there in the picture. So I'm gonna let you take that one. But thank you, Shawan, for that comment. And we have Cheryl. Cheryl, you gonna get us in trouble. As kids, the Cosby Show. Parents, Claire and Heathcliff Huxtable. Listen, I don't know if we talking about that, but that is a very good point, Cheryl. I remember thinking that we were supposed to be like the Huxtables. It's a common like joke that we make as Black people, is trying to be like the Huxtables. And Shawan also says, I never understood how important etiquette and manners were, especially as a part of Black excellence, until I began excelling academically and could socialize more with elite Black organizations. Great point. And then you also see who gets left out in the midst of that. I also wanted to tell y'all, I feel like the Jeffersons too were an example of Black excellence. People always talk about like being like the Jeffersons. My mom says Maya and her cousins attended a tea lunch, and Mama, I remember that in the 90s. It was a wonderful experience for them to dress up and learn etiquette tips. She still wants us to do etiquette. Of course, I enjoyed it as well. And then we have another comment from Shawan who says, excellent discussion, very much so. Always act like a lady. We could really talk about that, from the way we spoke to the volume of our voice, how we speak, how we address others. Great point. I feel like, oh my God, throughout my whole life, people are like, you are too loud, Maya, and all I do is get louder. For Dr. Oh, for Cheryl, for Dr. Cheryl, Jay says that the Cosby Show was the epitome of Black excellence. Could not agree with you more in terms of that. We also have a comment here. Good afternoon. Hey, how's it going? Thank you for stopping by. Dr. Maya in the chat, and thank you to Marissa Price always. Marissa is out here putting in links. I know her finger is tired. Thank you, Marissa, for being our moderator. Heels for sharing. This is so good that we could find this. And yes, I think we have a comment here from Mickey. She says, what are y'all Oh, we got our first question. Thank you. What are y'all suggestions on how to navigate Black excellence if our definition, current motives are based in European values? Wow. Textbook. That's amazing. So Elyse, since you are our facilitator, you let me know if we want to answer that now or if you would like us to continue answering other questions.
Let's hold on that because we will be touching on some of that. So let's hold on that. I was actually looking at that like we're gonna get there. I just want to say that while I am the youngest in the chat, being born in the early 90s, right? I was raised in a dance studio that my grandmother started. So in the 70s, 75. So all of the debutante balls, the etiquette classes, all of these things, that's just what she was doing at the dance studio. So that's what I grew up, and really all of us in the space, even all the way to the 90s, like that's what we grew up understanding. And I know we were like perform at different debutante balls, attend different like conferences and whatnot where we would perform, and it was all about the etiquette and how do you what silverware you're supposed to use, like all these things. And I always thought it was a bit strange at, that young. I'm like, can I just eat with the fork? Like, does anybody care? And so just wanted to contribute that as well. But I wanted to go ahead and move on. So kind of in the lane of the question that we just had, but I'm assuming you guys do agree with this, but just want to get your perspectives on it. If you feel that Black excellence is inherently tied to outperforming white standards, or if it can stand completely outside of that framework.
Okay, before you all go real quick, let me just finish with 2 more comments. Big Up says, a church asked me to teach a class of young women for a debutante in prep for coming out ball. I taught them basic things about being fortunate to be born in the US. Wow. And minding their femininity. Thank you for that. And then I have been pronouncing this name incorrectly. It is Swan. As a member of the Divine Nine, I challenge the ways that we conceptualize and approach Black girls' presentation. It is important that we not perpetuate misandry. Misandry. I don't know that word. Dr. Crystal, help me. Dr. Davia, someone that is a doctor. I don't know anyone other than me. Yes, this is a very, very good point. Okay, so I just wanted to bring in those 2 comments. Please, you all, please continue.
I think I'm going to jump in and just say that I definitely believe that Black excellence has a lot to do with outperforming, but I think it's even more than the white standard. I think our families wanted us to be at the highest level, and whether or not it was white standard or not, it was be the best, go, I don't want to say go hard, but you need to do more than the other folks, whoever the other was. I feel like I was in a household where they didn't say white folks. They would just be like, you got to do more than what's expected. And so you never knew the who, you just knew you had to. And I'm not sure that the standards, I'm not sure we knew exactly what the standards were. We knew they were always moving. We knew that we had to, you had to get this particular degree because it would help you have an opportunity to be able to feed your family differently. And I feel like, again, it's different now. I think what it was and what it is definitely has changed. And I put in the chat, just to play a little devil's advocate, I'm not sure there was anything wrong with the etiquette classes and the tea time and all of those things. I think it's really important for us to be able to be in spaces and be comfortable in a space and be able to, yes, we know what the water fork is for, and we know what the blah, blah, blah is for, because you're not going to think we're less than if we can't respond. So I throw that out there just to say that we were absolutely trying to see Black excellence as a way of there are standards that you're trying to meet, but I am not sure, at least for me, that my family would say out loud what it was. It was just do your very best and make sure that it's better than some of those folks at those jobs who think that you don't belong there. And so it was all coded. I had that, I don't know, I had that grandmother who was just like, we have to help each other. We have to make sure that we have opportunities, and education is the way that you do that. And so that was where the push was, for me. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, I do actually have a question. So I know you said that the other wasn't necessarily defined, but looking back, do you think that the other was the white Americans, or do you think it wasn't? Like, looking back and how that panned out, I was just curious.
I think that innately it was. Like, I think, of course it was. I think, I don't know why there wasn't more direct at it. I think she really wanted it to be about a personal journey, but your personal journey was connected to all Black people, period. So you were always like, what you're doing is for the community. So you can't get out there and just show your ass, because they're going to be like, oh, that's how Black women act. So it was always you personal and you broadly community. So it was you, but it was the bigger you, right? And so whether she said it or not, I definitely knew that that's what she meant, but she didn't really say it a lot. She really was about, for you to be accepted in many of these spaces, you need to understand what it is that they know, because it seems like it's a mystery. And you need to know that and some more stuff, because then you'll be able to negotiate those spaces.
Yeah.
I would.
I
Oh,
wanted,
go ahead, Dr. Crystal.
I just wanted to also say that Son Stevens in the chat is a dear friend of mine. She's actually Dr. Son Stevens, clinical psychologist out of Florida, who has done a lot of work also with helping heal children with trauma. And so many ways we have harmed our children and ourselves with these messages. And I'm happy that she was able to join us today after probably a whole day of seeing clients. And I feel like the other thing that I wanted to mention was that I think my dad in particular made it very clear to me that I was supposed to be an A student, graduate at the top of my class, go to a top college. I got recruited as an engineer to a top Fortune 500 company. And he was like, "You're better than all those white people, and you need to act like it and remind them every time they see you, they need to be reminded that they're not good enough and you're better than them." So he was a little bit hardcore on the Black excellence philosophy. And, honestly, I'm not mad at that because I felt like even though I don't subscribe, I know there's someone in the audience that's put in a chat about how it's a con. I really feel like he and my mom were doing what they needed to do to prepare me to meet the challenges that I was going to face in corporate America. And I was able to excel and last. I mean, I didn't really last because I quit after the 5 seconds after I hit vested, 10 years and 10 seconds, I was out. But I wouldn't have made it 10 years if he had not given me that mental toughness. Like, I literally thought that I was better than them as an engineer. And in most cases, I was a harder worker. So I saw things differently and at a deeper level. And I was always able to catch things. And I was able to do well as a result of, you might say, like that mismanaged, or not mismanaged, but misdirected or misguided as it was, or harmful as it could have been. I feel like that really helped me. And then again, I had the privilege of meeting San before either of us had doctorates. She's ahead of me at the program that we graduated from by 5 years. And I saw the pressure that they put on her to be the only one and the best one. It was a school. I actually don't want to say what school it is, but most of y'all know what school I went to. It's not hard to find. But anyway, the school we went to let one Black person in at a time when she went. Literally, out of the whole program, they would admit one Black person. And the year I came in, it was me and a Latino guy, male. So there were these harmful, toxic experiences that we had as a result that was sort of like intentional or by design. And we were able oftentimes to survive that because of this really difficult upbringing. I don't want to say difficult. I mean, it was in love, but it was harsh, to study that hard and to be always under that pressure. So I do want to say that when I raise my kids, I have tried to give more room for them to be themselves, to be creative, to find excellence for themselves, and to move at their own pace. And I don't know that was like the right way to raise them. I'll be honest. They're 27 and 30, and I think I did okay most days of the week. But the millennials, in my opinion, they're teaching me as much as I feel like we've taught them. I'm learning from them. So I want to say that I think that is something also that has to be considered, that even though it's being redefined, I think it can, I think it's possible that we don't have to throw it out with the bathwater. So at least that's how I feel today.
And I want to definitely add to that. I'm sure you did fine in terms of raising your your children. If they're anything like you, I love your energy. You just have such a down to earth, thoughtful type of way of expressing yourself. But it's pretty much what you said. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. To bring it back to what Dr. Davia was talking about and kind of playing devil's advocate, is there anything actually wrong with learning etiquette? I think that when we think about time and 20 years ago 50 years ago, however long, we only could operate from the level of consciousness that we were operating with at the time. I mean, we literally just didn't really, I didn't see a way, even as growing up, of breaking certain molds. I could never imagine that I'd be working sitting at home at a computer. I mean, the internet only really became public when I was in 6th grade. So they're asking you what you want to be when you grow up from the time that you're 3 or something like that. So I could have never said I wanted to work online. Like, I literally didn't know it existed. So I think that a lot of people did their best, and they did the best with what they were given and what they were shown. And it's only going to be certain people who kind of like break that mold and become pioneers of thought, and other people can then follow. And society has to kind of like, it has to kind of be possible and almost economically feasible still for you to behave that way and break these norms and still survive. So I mean, I think it's very important to acknowledge that, because I think we can skew a little bit towards like all of this stuff was BS. And a lot of it felt like it. Like when my uncle told me that he wanted me and my sister to go to charm school, I just thought he was the most bougiest, like haughtiest person. And I was just like, what's wrong with me as I am, you know? But at the same time, I mean, I have had friends who, it even kind of drove a wedge between us, because there came a point when, hey, we're hanging out together, and now you're with this elite group of people who are from just cut from a different cloth in terms of achievement in their field. And I just am me, you know? So while I can charm you for a while, like I didn't have whatever that thing was, you know, that made me acceptable to those groups, I guess, for a while. So I definitely see the difference in like how it can play out in friendships and social groups. But there was something kind of aspirational about it. And I think there still is. Like, I do want to speak to people in a better way than just being totally reckless. You know what I mean? I don't think there's anything wrong with etiquette, but I do think it's really important what we're doing, exploring and like peeling the layers and basically saying there is no right or wrong answer for what this is. The wrong answer is the one, I guess, that is harmful to you, you know, and the right answer is the ways that we can appreciate how our ancestors really did try to do their best. They wanted us to survive whatever this is, you know. So I wanted to bring that up.
So I want us to dream for a little bit. What would it look like to redefine Black excellence on our own terms?
I can start with this one, because this is something that I've been thinking about over the last couple of years. I think when it comes to redefining Black excellence, like I mentioned before, kind of getting away from the tentacles of capitalism a little bit, right? Like, we do live in America, we do need to pay our bills, we do need to be financially stable. But how do we do that in a way that's literally not killing us physically and mentally, right? That's how I look at redefining Black excellence. I look at redefining Black excellence. Helese brought a really good point about how some dreams weren't even economically viable to achieve or to even think about. So I think for the next generation, you know, I have nieces, I have a goddaughter, I have young sisters. What can I do now to make their dreams more economically viable, right? Or let's take away the economics. What can I say to them? How can I live my life to show them that nothing is impossible? Or maybe we don't want to get too, right? We don't want to get too optimistic, you know, to bring it down, right? To have a little bit of pragmatism. Maybe say what you want is not only possible, but it's feasible, right? For example, my sister goes to one of the best art schools in the world, and she goes there on a scholarship. And she almost did not apply because she thought that she wouldn't get in. But because I pushed her as the big sister that I am and said, it is entirely possible for you to go to one of the top art schools in the world. And yes, you are going to look different and be different from a lot of the kids. You know, she has kids that fly out to Miami every weekend to go party, right? Like, this is for you. So I don't want to make it seem like I'm a pessimist. You know, I'm an optimistic pragmatist, but I think when it comes to redefining Black excellence, I think it's mental, right? Like, what do we want to achieve, right? How do we want to achieve it? Who are the people that we need to surround ourselves in order to achieve that, right? And more importantly, what space can we give each other? What space can we give ourselves to figure that out? I think a lot of Black excellence, I speak from like immigrant perspective. I'm the child of immigrants. I also lived in the country of my parents' origin. So Black excellence is a little bit different for me, right? Like we were always taught to excel because, our parents did not come here with nothing for nothing, right? So I didn't have that chance to really think about my dreams until much later in life. Like success in my culture is a STEM career. And if you're outside of STEM, good fucking luck because you're asked out. So when I think about redefining Black excellence, I think about giving myself and giving other people the space to think about how their life looks like, what dreams they want to achieve, and how they can get there.
That was beautiful, Vonnie. Thanks for that. And yes, let's be optimistic. I see that in the chat. Let's be optimistic. Elyse, you have something you want to contribute?
Yes, I want to add on to that so much. First of all, I love that you brought in, and I think we're all advocates of this, but wellness. And how are we going to take all the resources that we have now with the internet and networking and being able to travel, so many things being more accessible to us, and how are we going to not only imbibe that for ourselves, but pass it on to the next generation, that anything is possible. I love that you pushed your sister to go to the best art school in the world. I love it. One of the top art schools. It's just big sister energy. I'm a little sister, so it's like, yeah, I love that. But I think that, so you said something key to me. You said that you didn't get to think about your dreams until much later in life. I think maybe we all might be able to relate to that. And having ADHD, so I have to bring this up. I was diagnosed late in life, so like 36 or so, age 36. And I didn't know what the heck was wrong with me. I didn't understand why I couldn't achieve these milestones that I wanted to. And there's all kinds of issues with focus and concentration, different interests pulling you in different ways, and a lot of the challenges that come with ADHD. So once I began to kind of understand that, I feel like I was always kind of going towards it, but I had to try to find flexible work, work that just simply was not available when I was deciding what I wanted to be when I grew up. So I really had to wait until science recognized Black women as having ADHD too, and could, acknowledge that and try to support us. And, it was a lot of me seeking my own resources to try to understand how was I going to achieve even my own definition of Black excellence? Because it's like, okay, so after I let go of what white society thinks, after I let go of what Black elite society thinks, and how do I still define it for myself as a Black woman? What is excellence for me? Well, it means freedom, like Dr. Crystal said, just being on sabbatical, being able to travel and create groups like this and just gather spaces with amazing Black women and just talk about whatever we want, whatever it is. And I think that time, evolution of society, again, and evolution of thought has a lot to do with how we're going to define Black excellence now and in the future. So for me today, Black excellence is being able to be financially solvent, being able to travel when I want to, and feeling good in my own skin, and literally having health. And yes, team neurodivergent, baby. Yes. So thanks for asking that question, Elyse.
Okay, I'm just going to give some of the things from the chat. Y'all, the chat is chatting, and I just want to make sure we include people. Churning the nectar. It would be so amazing to have the old African cultures unlimited, reawakened, and merged with the new culture and connecting Black people across the globe more. So you done got something started, which is African American and African. We could have a whole conversation on that and the ways in which we define Black excellence depending on our culture. Thank you for that comment. Someone has Black fatigue. I think we all do. They be like, Black don't crack, but we cracking. Okay, it'd be hard out here. We be trying so hard. Lana says that Black excellence is healing. Black excellence can be as loud as thunder and subtle as raindrops. That is beautiful. Sounds like poetry. I hope we all celebrate the ways it exists across the spectrum. We also have here Hannah. Black excellence equals the ability to enjoy the life that we have worked for. Exactly, Hannah. When do we get to enjoy it? We work so hard. What is the time that we get to enjoy it? Maybe Dr. Crystal can tell us since she is on sabbatical. Big up. I just would love each of us to just be completely comfortable with ourselves, being just who we choose to be, even as we continually evolve. Exactly. And we don't necessarily have to be who other people want us to be. Tea time. I respect you all so much. We respect you too. Tea time. I've seen your videos. You be out in nature. You better be by that tree. I see you. And at Dr. Crystal, thank you. I appreciate your perspective. Tea time is inspired by your self-expression and dedication to education. Learning so much tonight. Myself as well. I'm so glad that we have so many wonderful people here. Hannah had a question. We don't necessarily have to answer it. Hannah, I answered your question in the chat. How do we unpack a coworker saying, so you think that you're better than me? And my response would be that it is because I am. I'm joking. Okay, my response would be more so that it's not about you. We don't have to make everything about us as individuals. We're all on our own journey. And, you know, we should be happy and celebrate people that are doing great things and not trying to compare that to ourselves. Deanne, celebrating the original you. Thank you. The thing is, I never had heard the term Black excellence until I was in my 30s. The emphasis my family insisted on was excellence. And it's true. There is a lot happening here that we don't necessarily know. We have Jay. In my opinion, Black excellence is inextricably tied to white supremacy because it exists as a response to the ways in which white people see us and what they believe we are or can be capable of. Could not agree with you more, Jay. We're going to need to bring you in on the next chat. That is it. The thing is about white supremacy is obviously all of us are working so hard to achieve something that seems like it is never attainable. And it's just really unfortunate to see. Dr. Stevens Crystal is giving you a shout out. You doing a beautiful job raising a beautiful Black queen and king. Okay, you better raise them and also share this Black excellence conversation with them and see us if they have additional questions. Dr. Stevens also said being a part of the system required a great deal of denial and self-gaslighting to survive and navigate. For sure, like the things that we have had to overcome in order to get degrees, in order to work super hard, in order to be in these jobs was a lot. Nyla, hey girl. She is also a part of our YouTube group. She is a part of our sisterhood and community, and she is out there in the chat. We basically have almost everybody that's in our group either in the chat or on the live, and we love to see it because we really what? Sisters. So Nyla says Caribbean Black excellence was brutal. Pride in yourself left no room for being a human. And that is just awful. We hate to see that. We deserve to be humans too. I got to say hi to my sister. Hey, Sissy. Loving the chat. Thank you, ladies, for sharing your personal experiences. Thanks, Sissy. I talked about you, Sissy, and how you Black excellence. So good luck dealing with that. And we also have a comment from Dr. Keisha. Black excellence is a con. It is the slow civil rights campaign to convince white supremacists, dang, y'all calling these white people out, that we are as smart, hardworking, honest, demure, and classy as they are. I believe in ratchetness. Let's go. Let's get ratchet. And then they're going to send us all to the etiquette school. Our final comment is from Deanne. For my family, excellence in Black was simply to live all the way up to one's capabilities. My parents did not believe Black people were less than, so whatever could be done, we would and help others. Thank you for that comment. And we love to help each other because I think that Black excellence can sometimes be divisive, but we should be together. I'm going to turn it back over to you, Elyse. Thank you for letting me bring in those comments.
Absolutely. Thank you, everybody in the chat, for being so interactive. This is wonderful. So we have defined Black excellence. We've explored redefining it. But I just want to know, If this doesn't apply to you, that's fine. But have you ever chosen to just opt out of it? Period. And what was that experience like for you?
Well, I'll kick it off, but I'll be brief. I mean, I'm definitely one who is new to the opting out game, but a little earlier than 11 months ago, I decided to retire early. And in order to retire early, I had to step down from 9 responsibilities besides teaching. One of those was teaching courses and projects and grants and all the things. But after I stepped down from those, I realized that I wanted to embrace a season of ease and I wanted to go on sabbatical. And I was giving myself 2 years to see the world. And I think at that time, I thought it was pretty likely that I would come back to teaching or higher ed in some capacity. But 11 months later, I'm now giving myself permission to re-examine what my area of expertise and contribution will be to higher ed and in what way, shape, or form that will take. And I suspect it will not take place being a regular monthly check getter. So I do think that it's been hard. I guess this is the thing I want to say in order to be brief, is I am still I'm still teaching myself really for the first time how not to have 3 jobs, 2 jobs, 9 projects. It's been hard. It's been really hard. I mean, the very fact that I have a YouTube channel suggests that I'm not really out here doing nothing but traveling, right? I try to go to the beach every day this week and I failed. And there's no reason that I shouldn't have been able to go because you see that dark, it's like right there. There's no excuse. You can't walk out the door without seeing it. But we are socialized to believe that we should be doing things and producing things and earning money and not spending money. That's another huge piece to me is, one of the things we didn't talk about that I wish we had gotten to is the classism. One of the cons, part of the con, as Dr. Keisha said about Black excellence, is that it makes us very classist. One of the downsides. So I'm trying to reform myself for that way of thinking that it is okay. I earn the money, it's my money. I should be able to spend it on me. But it's hard because that's not part of the template that we're given. So I'll leave it there.
I dropped in the chat that I don't know if I've ever opted out, but I'm not sure as a Black woman you can ever opt out of any of it. I mean, you can make choices about how you're going to engage. And I guess that is the opting out, right? You have a choice to say, I'm not going to push. But I feel a lot like the rest of you all. I want to have less things to do. I want to, and yet I struggle with that. And so that was, again, going, and not really to just go back to my channel, but the whole point was to not do all the things because we are consistently, oh yeah, I'm gonna be able to do that. I'm gonna be able to do this. I'm gonna take that on. And so I don't know if that has anything to do with Black excellence or if it's just our way of being as Black women, just knowing how to push, knowing how to get things done. And so I am hoping in this new season that I can be more intentional about the choices I make so that I can say that I am maybe not that I'm not choosing Black excellence, but I am choosing to pace myself and give myself the freedom to enjoy life in the way that I would like to, because we are exhausted out here. So whoever said Black fatigue, I was like, yes, let me write that down. That is exactly what we are. That's the word. I was like, I didn't think about it that way, but we have this thing that we do, and we try to say, oh, we're not going to do X, Y, and Z, and yet we still have 12 jobs all the time for everybody, and maybe we're on the list. So I haven't opted out, Elyse, but I'm gonna be very intentional about what I'm going after. I'll put it that way.
And I think that, sorry, go ahead, Elyse.
I was going to say, I feel like I never truly opted in the first place. It wasn't until later in life and I was like, oh, when I started kind of getting my groove in terms of work and everything like that, I was like, oh, I could probably try to do some major milestone that may get me recognized or something in life. But honestly, I think like at the age of 17, when I graduated high school, I moved to New York, and that was my Black excellence moment. I was just like, look, I came from Columbia, South Carolina. I live in New York. I mean, that, like, what else, and then, I lived in New York for a long time. It's like, now I'm a New Yorker. You know what I mean? I didn't just do this for a little second. Like, I'm really about this life now. So then, having to, I moved back to Columbia, South Carolina for a little bit, for several years, actually. I did some things, but then when I moved to Mexico City, I was like for a while, that was it. But by that time, social media was all about like, here's how you start a business. Here's how you get government contracts. Here's how you do this. Here's how you do that. You must always be doing a side hustle. You must always be monetizing and marketing all of your skills at the same time, So it was like, now I'm like, I don't know. Is me just literally just doing this major milestone and moving to a country that I don't know the language. I don't know anybody there, by myself, staying there for a year and a half. Like, is that enough? It kind of made me question that. Now that you've brought up this conversation and bring this term back to the forefront of my mind, Black excellence, I'm like, I truly don't know if I've ever opted in, but now if I ever do again, it's really about defining it. And I love what you said, Dr. Crystal, as in you made a plan to do something for 2 years, to be on sabbatical for 2 years. And now at 11 months, you're reevaluating, like giving yourself that grace to reevaluate. And I agree with you, Dr. Davia. We are tired. I'm tired of spinning my wheels. I feel like, even Dr. Crystal, when you said you don't know if you're going to be a monthly check getter in the education system, the higher education system, the first thing that popped into my head, because it's a program, it's conditioning, it's like, oh, you can do contracts with them, you can do contract work and everything like that. Because it's like every time you scroll, I mean, what my algorithm is set up, like all these different ways to make money, be a fractional professor, just do something. You got to do something. You can never really stop. And I don't want that to be a part of my definition of Black excellence. Please. I am tired too. I don't have a PhD. I'm still tired. I'm exhausted from always trying, to like figure the next thing out. So I wish peace and ease and rest and debt cancellation and unexpected money for all of us. Okay. And I'm gonna leave it at that. Go ahead, Elyse.
I was just gonna say to Dr. Davia that I just think it's, and you've all said it, but I just think in addition to how Black women have been conditioned, I also just think it's just the way of our society, and you're set up to always want to do more, and also sometimes have to do more, and everything, to be honest, it's just never enough. So I think as Black women, let's also work on not being so hard on ourselves when we are working to either opt out of Black excellence, redefine it, whatever your relationship is to Black excellence. Just remember that we're working against these systems they've been years in the making, yeah. And Dr. Crystal, I'm glad you brought up the classism part, because I was going to ask you that now, just how can we celebrate everyday forms of Black, I'm going to use brilliance for lack of a better word, but brilliance that aren't tied to wealth, status, or education? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I want to say that I am learning in Colombia here to slow down. I'm respecting the hustle. There is a Black man that makes an amazing empanada that's the equivalent of $1.25. And every day when I walk when I go to walk to the beach at 7 a.m., he is down there with his cart and his whatever the passion fruit. I forget how to say it in Spanish. Maruya?
Maracuya.
Maracuya. Yes. He has the maracuya ready cold at 7 a.m. and an empanada breakfast for $2 at 7 a.m. Fresh, hot, flaky pastry. Let me tell you, let me get your mouth watering. You need to come to Cartagena. Yes. This is excellence. This is Black. This is how I'm redefining Black excellence. The brother is brown skinned brother. He don't speak a lick of English, but we know how to communicate the maracuya Who go to Maracuya? That's what he says to me. That's what he calls me. And I'm so proud of him and so happy for how he makes the community happy. People are coming from everywhere to get their $2 breakfast on their way to wherever they're going at 7 a.m. Yeah, he might be there earlier than 7, but at 7, he's there and he has a line, and it's amazing. And if you come at 9, you missed it. It's all gone. Don't come down thinking you're gonna run into maracuya juice at 9 o'clock. It's all gone. So I think we have to be open to all of the ways that God has blessed people and their creative gifts and what they're doing for the world. This man makes a lot of people happy. Do you hear me? And I am so proud of him. And the people that are in the community that support this little small vendedora de calle. That's something else I learned this week. Vendedora de calle. So I'm trying to learn Spanish. So I want us to do that in the US. I want to go home and be able to celebrate that brother and the sister that's hustling, that's got whatever the heck they got for sale, and support them and encourage them the same way we would clap and shout and act a fool when somebody gets a degree. I mean, it's all good. It's all good. I think that's where I want to see us grow too.
That was beautiful, Dr. Crystal, and great job learning Spanish. I'm impressed. So, my sisters, we have a homework assignment from Kiki B. Please bless us with more of these panel conversations. Okay, Kiki, I told them I'm going to be here, Kiki. I don't know if they're going to be here, but I hope they will. I want to let you know, Kiki, Dr. Crystal is actually going to be on my channel talking about Cartagena, probably talking about that maracuya in June. So you would definitely can look out for that. And Dr. Davia will be on my channel in July. We just texted about that too. You better stop ignoring my messages. I'm playing with you. You responded. I'm playing. Yes. Okay. Please continue, Elyse.
Wait, Elyse, can I just throw one thing in? What I heard,
Yeah, absolutely.
What I heard Dr. Crystal say is the way we celebrate Black brilliance is to love and support each other in the milestones and steps that we take, whatever they are, and that we celebrate each other and we like lean into each other. And I feel like being in community with each other and just shouting each other out. Now in my head, I'm like, oh, if I get to Cartagena, I want to go find homeboy because I know he's going to be out here. So already you planted a seed because I'm like, oh, it's going to be good like that. So to me, that Black brilliance is about us just celebrating what we see in front of us as people are doing their thing, however they are doing it, and just bigging them up, which is what Dr. Maya has done, which is what each of you will have done by us coming together and just acknowledging that we are human and we are loving on each other in the steps that we're taking, whatever they are, right? We're accountable to each other. And I think that will help us, just grow. We don't have to put that extra pressure. It's just the support, right? The brilliance to me is in the support and the love. Thank you for that.
Absolutely. So I see we're getting close to time, but want to know, what advice would you give someone who's feeling crushed by the weight of Black excellence?
Okay. I have to say that advice for people who are feeling crushed in life, I feel like that's one of my specialties because I have definitely felt that. I think you can be crushed under the weight of actually achieving those milestones. Like I think Dr. Davia said, like it feels like you have 10 jobs when you're pursuing a PhD, so if you're doing some kind of milestone like that, some kind of really high achievement, you can feel crushed under the weight of the pressure. If you have a lot of responsibilities, like I know Vonnie talks about this, being an older sister, like the responsibilities of just being the eldest sister. I don't know if any of you others can relate. Or if you're feeling crushed by not having achieved those milestones and reaching 30 and feeling like you just haven't achieved anything yet. I feel like the true thing is really having a relationship with whatever you call God. Like, I don't know, everybody has a different name for it, but you have to have a true center, Like you have to have something that you can really anchor to, because that it's not a small thing. It can actually pull you down into a really serious depression. It can be like a serious threat to your mental health and physical health. So I think that through different tools and modalities, like I like to use affirmation. Dr. Davia talked about community. I mean, you really have to tap into like all these different methods of healing. It could be going to the beach. It could be taking a shower, because not everyone has access to that. You have to like literally just take stock of whatever you have around you. And sometimes all you have is your breath. You may just need to deep breathe and start some kind of practice or some kind of activity that you can keep going back to, that centers you and reminds you that literally you are enough, and that you're not a loser. I have a video on my channel, like 10 reasons why you're not a loser. Okay, so because I mean, when you're always playing the comparison game, when you are always even comparing yourself to achievements that you've had in the past, and you're feeling like you haven't achieved much lately, or that just day to day you're slipping, you really have to have an anchor in something higher. And that can start with the breath, that can start with the body, that can start with going to nature, community, God, church. I mean, wherever you find it. I think one of the major pillars of the Black American church is the community itself. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of tenets in what I grew up in as Christianity. There's a lot of tenets that can be found in other systems, but it's the community. It's the way that you might be accepted when you're down and out and on your last dime, or on your last leg. So healing and support, I think it can be found in many places, but I guess the thing is there's no right one answer. I don't believe in canned advice. Everybody is drawn to something that is going to heal them, but hopefully through something I've mentioned, or look some solutions up online. I don't know, like you have to start small with where you are and try to build yourself back up, your self-esteem, your confidence. And this is still something that I deal with almost every single day. I wouldn't trade places with where I was a year ago, even though a year ago I was in Mexico City, I felt great. But the point is, I grow in wisdom every day because I choose to. And so I think that if you are committed to literally just staying afloat, you may have to start there. Then you hopefully can come back to center. And so no easy answer, unfortunately, for this, because everybody needs different things.
I have a quick, easy suggestion. And this, if you already do this, you are in the minority, but keep it up. So my suggestion to combat the stress of Black excellence is that we all need a nap. Most Black women are not sleeping. They have insomnia. They're stressed out. You need to figure out what you got to do to get a nap. I mean, a regular nap schedule. So it's the weekend, pull out your calendar, pull out your phone, make whatever excuse you have to. If you can't get a nap in this weekend, if a weekend nap is not part of your practice, your self-care practice, this is an excellent way to start preparing yourself to tap out. And I'm not saying you have to throw Black excellence to the side, but you can put it on pause for a nap. You might have to start with a 20-minute nap. You might start with an afternoon escape in nature, but put yourself in silent mode. Let yourself sit, let yourself think, let yourself breathe. I saw Marissa put therapy. I definitely am a huge believer in therapy. I certainly would not have had the courage to make the decision I did to tap out for 2 years had I not had the support of an excellent therapist. But definitely start small. Take a nap. What can you do? What can you not do tomorrow? Think of 3 things you can not do tomorrow so you can get a nap. You don't even have to go to sleep. Tell them kids, they daddy, they auntie, they whoever. Put something on. Tell them you're sick. I don't care what you got to tell them. Go in the room, lock the door, and take a nap. That's my closing advice. Get somebody else to do it. I love it.
I think the one thing that I will add is that you have to celebrate yourself. Every little small step that you take is still a step towards whatever goal you have created, not the worldly goal, not what society says, but you're setting your own goals and intentions. And if you get up and you think about it and you write something down and you're moving towards it, celebrate that, because then you feel good about the movement that you're making, and you don't have to continue that comparison that we do that kind of pushes us into that cycle. So I would say nap, rest, and then celebrate the steps that you're taking along the way. Yeah.
And then I'll say something as well. I think for me, as someone who has gotten out under the weight of Black excellence, because technically I was supposed to be an anesthesiologist with, 2 kids, a dog, living in a house somewhere, and I'm neither one of those things. But yeah, I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life. For me personally, what I can say is, when you're out of the matrix, aka Black excellence, it is uncomfortable. For me, I had to be comfortable with being a pariah. I had to be comfortable with ambiguity. I had to be comfortable. For example, I've known that I wanted to be child-free since I was 17. I had to be comfortable telling people that I don't want children and not provide any explanation for that, right? That's very anti-Black excellence, very anti-immigrant, right? For me, it was really being honest with myself, even when I didn't like the answer to those questions I was asking myself, but asking myself, why did I not like that answer? Is it because it's not true to me, or it's not true to what people think I should be, right? And once I figured out the life that I wanted to live and the people that I wanted to have, I slowly became more comfortable with expressing my truth out loud, even and especially when it made people uncomfortable. And realizing that like not everyone is going to understand my journey in my life, and it's not for everyone to understand. Like when I die, it's just me in the grave and no one else. And I think about death a lot, not in a weird way, but we're all going to die. And I constantly think to myself, if I were to die tomorrow, will I be happy with the life I lived? And if the answer is yes, then I'm good. But it has meant that I am a lot different than my peers. A lot of my peers make multiple 6 figures, right? Because a lot of my peers are immigrants. And so it's just being comfortable with, taking the red pill and being out of the matrix, being a pariah, and finding my community. A lot of you ladies mentioned community, finding my other community of pariahs, my other, the folks who also defied Black excellence in their own way, because we can't do this alone, right? Like to be a pariah alone is lonely. So yeah, I don't know if that advice is going to help anyone, but that's what's helped me, is just like really living in my truth, not just saying it, but like doing small incremental steps to really live in my truth each and every day.
I think that's a great way to to wrap this up. That was great. Unless Dr. Maya, if you have anything that you'd like to contribute. If not, no pressure.
Yeah, no worries. I wanted to at least just tell the followers our next live that's coming up. So just let me know when to do that.
Okay, great. So yeah, I'm just again, thank you so much for being willing to have this conversation. Again, it's become even more expansive than I even thought. I mean, it was just a simple question in the chat, and I'm like, it continues to expand from where we even started in the chat. So thank you so much. And to everybody who's been here with us and everybody who's watching the replay, thank you for your support. It means a lot to all of us. And yeah, thank you, ladies. So Dr. Maya, you can close us out.
Okay, thank you, Elyse. You did a fantastic job. You're amazing in terms of your facilitation skills. Know that Elyse came up with 1,000 questions for us, always super prepared. Dr. Davia, of course, we love your intellect and the fact that you are here and you remind us to love on ourselves, to take those times, to take those breaks. Vani, just the sweetest, just so kind in terms of what you bring. You really didn't change the chat with the "when I die, I'm in the grave alone." So we are going to be thinking about that tonight. Helese, beautiful makeup, flawless outfit, just came in here stunting and dropping beautiful gems and so much knowledge. And Dr. Crystal, maracuya, we know we got to find that man wherever that man is. Please share that man's contact. He's going to be like, who are all these Black women? And I do not even speak English. And we're going to be like, wow, it's okay. We just here for the maracuya. So to all of the people that came today, thank you all so much for being here. We have met so many fantastic people. You all have contributed so much, and this was just a wonderful conversation. So I just want to let you all know, I know you are like, we need more of these lives. You don't even got to worry, because who got your back? I got your back. So number one, if you love this conversation with Dr. Crystal, and Dr. Crystal seemed to be the most popular in the chat. I mean, like, we can tell that y'all love Black women, but Dr. Crystal, I just want you to know, go back to the chat, because multiple people shouted you out in the chat. Dr. Crystal and I, and also Claude, who is in the chat as well, we will be having a conversation about Cartagena, Colombia on Juneteenth. If you ain't got nothing to do, because let's remember, we're talking about Black excellence. Be off Black people on Juneteenth. Some Black people are still working on Juneteenth. Take that day off while we talk about like relaxing. And so if you need something to do, Dr. Crystal, Claude, and I, who is in the chat, will be talking about Cartagena, Colombia, and probably that man with the maracuya. So we got you. Then also, I'm so sorry, Vaughn, I forgot to mention that you're going to be on my channel too. Like, what's good? I got you, girl. So if you loved hearing from Hey Vaughn, she will be on my channel on July 3rd. We're doing a live, and we're talking about anti-Blackness abroad. So thank you, Vonnie, for showing up for that. And then finally, Dr. Davia will be on my channel at the end of July, and we will be talking about travel. So you don't have to stop seeing these fabulous women. We are a sisterhood, and we will continue to have this chat. So as we close out, could I just ask each of you to leave our followers with something? Girl, if it's just to say subscribe, do that now. This is your moment. Close this out, and then we can head out.
I can start. Thank you everyone for spending time with us on this Friday night or afternoon or morning. I don't know, Saturday morning, could be in Australia. My channel is Hey Vaughn if you want to learn more about me and the things that I am learning and growing and making mistakes on in life, as we all are. And yeah, thank you, Dr. Maya. Thank you, Elyse. Thank you, all of you guys. Like, y'all are wonderful. This is, I think someone mentioned like this panel is what Black excellence is. This is Black joy. This is Black brilliance. This is Black love. Like, this is it right here.
Thank you all. I'm just going to jump in. My channel is Not All the Things, and I usually try and go live on Wednesday evenings. I try and talk about work-life balance because I struggle with it myself. I definitely talk about wellness, and I always bring in wine once a month and talk about wine. I will be transitioning to Southeast Asia. I'm moving to Thailand, and so I'm going to start doing some vlogs about that move. It's a little bit different for me, but I'm in my quest to get free from the US and my hopes to go to Portugal. I decided to take a detour and go to Thailand first and then get to Portugal. So I hope you all will join me on that journey. And thank you to this amazing panel. I appreciate you all and look forward to being in community with you.
Okay. Go ahead.
I was going to go next. I just want to say that I have really had a wonderful time. This is like the most sad but true. This is like the best Friday night experience I've had in a while. So it's been an honor to be here with you all. Thank you to everybody who came to listen and watch and participate. I want to shout out to our co-facilitators. They did an amazing job. I am on sabbatical with Dr. Crystal, and you can find me everywhere, LinkedIn, Instagram, all the places, except for that tweet bird place. No, not there. Dr. Crystal Harris. You Google that. I'm everywhere as that. And I am headed to Charlotte, North Carolina. And one of our sisters of influence is in Charlotte, and I'm going to see her next week. She just sent me a text right before this. So if you're in Charlotte, Girl, Your Brand's a Big Deal is the conference that I'm speaking at next Saturday night. So would love to see you there. And if you're following my channel, you can learn more. I've already posted, how to get there. And they are doing a free open to the community event on one of the nights. But it's a phenomenal experience. I'm looking forward to being there to talk about the audacity of you. That's my topic. And what it's like to take bold risks with your career. So thank you so much for joining us. And that's my closing.
Yes, this has been amazing, very invigorating. I really appreciate you, Dr. Maya. I didn't know how hilarious you are. I really think that you should consider doing an amateur night in one of these cities, like an English speaking amateur night. I would love to see that. Or do it where you are, do it in your hometown. Because you are hilarious. You just come with the quips, you just know how to like make something sound live, and you know a little bit about everybody. Like, you're a great MC. You are a great MC. You need to know that. Okay, so my name is Helese, and you can find me at youtube.com/@lovestarsworld. I talk about ADHD, and I used to go by Star. You guys can go back and watch the ADHD playlist and watch me talk about my story of getting diagnosed, dealing with that, living at home with my parents in my 30s, all the little things that people don't want to talk about, but like, it's really happening out here. If you look at the statistics, nobody is talking about this stuff. So I share some insights. And then I've moved into more like motivational content. So you don't have to have ADHD to enjoy the channel. You could just need some encouragement, because that's really what I want to move more into, really encouraging people when they're feeling down and low and things like that, and just bringing inspiration. So this convo has been great. I have to get on your calendar, Dr. Maya, to be on your channel as well. So we will talk about that. And happy early Juneteenth, everybody. Happy early Juneteenth. Let's celebrate us. Let's celebrate what we just did. Hey, Elyse, I see you're back. All right, so I'm going to kick it back to one of you all. And thank you, Marissa, so much in the chat doing your thing. Thank you so much.
I forgot that. Thank you, Helese. Marissa, you are fantastic and phenomenal. Add in all of the links in the chat. We really, really appreciate you. Don't forget, Marissa did a live on my channel. So if you want to check out Marissa's information, it is there. She is a wonderful person working to heal the Black community, not the whole one, but like pieces of it. She got you. Okay. So definitely check out Marissa's channel. She says so many fantastic things, and she really is helping us with healing. Did anybody else need to go to say your last words, or should I just end it? Okay. Dr. Davia? No. Oh, me. Okay. Anyways, so yes, this is Dr. Maya, Dr. Davia, Hey Von, Dr. Crystal, Elyse, and Helese, and Marissa as our moderator. It has been fantastic to talk to you all. This is a wonderful conversation. Don't worry, we will have more content. There are more lives to come. We really enjoyed everybody that's here. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking, and thank you for commenting. Make sure, as Black folks, we are continuing to take care of ourselves. We are continuing to support one another. And one thing that Dr. Crystal loves to do is breathing exercises. So maybe we can do that. We can take some naps, get somebody to do it themselves, and tell these people to stop hating on us for being what? Black excellence. So thank you all so much. I'm going to end it there. I hope you all have a wonderful Friday and a fantastic weekend. Bye.